Hello everyone, welcome back. In case you guys haven't noticed, it's been getting colder and colder, and this week it dipped below freezing. It's currently about 27 degrees. So in this type of weather, basically you got to wear insulated gloves. Now these aren't my thickest gloves. At some point over the next month or two, it's going to go all the way down to like -5, -10 degrees. So I have much thicker gloves. So what I've done is I've switched over to my winter pistol, okay? So in the wintertime, I like using the Beretta 92, and the reason is because the trigger guard is thick enough that I can get an insulated glove in there, and when I wear the thicker gloves, what I do is I use a technique where when I come out of the holster, right, I'll hold the gun here, and then basically I'll shove my finger in between the guard and the trigger. And the nice thing about the Beretta 92 is because it's a double action, single action only trigger, with the hammer down, if I force my finger in there and the hammer moves back a little bit, it's not gonna set the gun off, okay, because there's a lot more travel in that trigger. So I've had to modify my technique, you know, because I'm wearing thicker gloves. And here's the thing: when it's below freezing, okay, you don't want to have to take off your gloves. Okay, a lot of people, you know, you carry a gun, you wear thick gloves. You kind of have to take your gloves off in order to operate your gun. I spend a lot of time outdoors, and here's the thing: you know, if I ever need to use a gun in a defensive type of situation outdoors, you know, be it against, you know, human or wild animal or whatever, there's a good chance that you know, it will be, you know, a good time before I'm able to get back indoors. So, you know, one of the things that you learn really quickly when you're outdoors is once your fingers get frozen, it's really hard to, you know, to warm them up, you know, unless you can get back indoors or get into like a, you know, a heated, you know, car or heated truck. So you gotta get to a heat source in order to, you know, heat your fingers back up. And if you're not able to do that, I mean, your fingers are going to be frozen, and, you know, if you're going to be outside for, you know, for a really long time, you know, let's say like in a hunting type of situation where you're already a couple of miles into the woods, you know, basically if your fingers get frozen, they're going to stay frozen, and you're at risk of frostbite. Okay, so one of the things that I do and I practice is when I'm outdoors, okay, when I go to handle a firearm, I want to make sure that I've been practicing, you know, operating that firearm without having to take my gloves off. Okay, so I want to be able to come out, shoot, reholster without taking the gun off. I want to be able to do magazine changes, all that stuff. Okay, so I've also had to modify my technique a little bit, because one of the things you'll notice when I come out of the holster, right, you know, sometimes the finger goes in real easy, like it's doing right now. You know, sometimes, especially if I'm wearing a thicker glove, it may not go in as easy. I may need to kind of force it in there. So what I'm going to do is when I come out, I'm going to grip the gun here with my thumb, right? You see I'm holding it, and I'm basically, I'm sticking my finger in there while the gun is pointed into the ground, right? Muzzle's pointed into the ground. And what's going to happen is if I need to, let's say, confront somebody, right? Because normally we can have the finger off the trigger, you know, and then let's say we need to hold somebody at gunpoint for whatever, you know, whatever reason, you know, we can be with the finger off trigger. Hey, you, what are you doing there? Get back, get away from me, you know. In a situation where I have the thick insulated glove, I've had to modify my technique because I know I may not be able to get my finger in there as easily when I need to. I'm going to come out of the holster, get it in there, and then I'm pointing the gun into the ground, okay, not at my potential threat. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get away from here. Get away from here. You know, and then boom, boom, boom if I need to fire, okay? So that's how I've modified the technique. You know, I have to put my finger in the trigger guard when I'm wearing these kind of gloves, because like I said, I may not be able to get it in there when I want to. Okay, so I'm just going to point the gun towards the ground. I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually dry fire this. You know, I haven't practiced this technique, you know, since last winter, so I'm going to practice this on these two targets here. All right, so I'm here. I'm going to come out. Hey, you, what are you doing? Get away from here. Get away from here. Okay, and then come back. Now with this gun, you need to decock it before you put it into the holster. Even though there's no magazine here right now, I'm going to practice decocking it anyway before reholstering it, even though I don't need to do it because I'm just trying to develop that muscle memory. So again, what are you doing? Stop. The other thing that you would typically do is, like with this gun, if I don't have gloves on, usually I can operate the safety with this thumb over here. Okay, with the thick gloves, I pretty much have to use the other thumb in order to operate the safety. One of the things to be aware of with the Beretta 92 is if you do a reload and you rack your slide, right, it's very easy to knock the gun, knock the safety on by mistake when you don't want the safety on. So that's just one of the things you want to be aware of with the Beretta 92. They do make a version of this where there's no safety on the gun. It's only a decocker, and if you push it down, it springs back up. That's not what this gun is, so that's just something that, I have to be very conscious of. It's also a reason why you may want to, let's say you lock the gun open. Let's say, you do your magazine reload. The Beretta 92 has a very large lever here for a slide release. So normally with a Glock, I'll just run the slide to put into battery. With this gun, you might just be better off using the slide release, because there's less of a chance that you will throw put the safety on. Okay, so let me put this back on. I'm gonna dry fire this again. Stop! What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, safety on. Put the gun. Okay, so let's do some live fire now. So I haven't practiced this technique since last winter, so kind of warming myself up with this now. Stop! Get back! Get back! So obviously the trigger is going to feel a little different in your hand with the glove on versus the gun off. So you're going to have to kind of get used to how you got to press that trigger. Hey, what are you guys doing here? Get back, get back, get back, don't do that. So be absolutely sure that you decock that gun before you put it into your holster. Hey, what's going on? What are you guys here? Stop, stop, stop. So, a couple things for you guys to think about. This is my technique. Usually when the techniques, most of the techniques that I show you guys in my channel are usually techniques that I have learned from other people. A lot of them having done military service or police service. This is one of those techniques that I have developed on my own. Okay, so I'm kind of putting that out there. So this is a little bit different. So you guys can try this out, but be aware that this is my technique, something that I've developed. And if it, and like I said, if you feel that you can use it safely, use it. If you don't feel like you can use it safely, don't use it. But these are the things to consider, with regard to using a gun in the wintertime, outdoors, when it's below freezing. Okay. If you guys got any questions, comments, by all means, I'd love to hear from you guys. If you disagree with me, by all means, please post some comments. Like I said, this is my technique. So if you guys disagree with it, by all means, you're welcome to do so and give your opinions and perhaps introduce some alternative ideas that I will be happy to consider. And I'm sure other people watching this channel will also be happy to consider. If you guys are not a member of my channel, please subscribe. Hit that bell button so you get notifications of the new videos I put up. I'll talk to you guys next time.